Welcome back, everybody, to the Podecito podcast. I am your host, The Real Fortunate 9. Thank you for joining me as we journey episode by episode through our collective favorite show. Of course, I'm talking about the incomparable Las Vegas. We are here on episode 7 of season 2. Don't you know? It's called Montecito Lancers. This episode aired for the first time November 1st, 2004. The reason it was November 1st, 2004 is because our beloved Las Vegas was preempted the week before, October 25th, for the Radio Music Awards. So that's why it started on the 1st of November. The IMDb rating for this episode is 7.6 out of 10. The Las Vegas-The Series.com rating, as tabulated through the Wayback Machine. Go and support the Wayback Machine if you can. They're doing the Lord's work, don't you know? Their rating was 4 out of 5 chips, bringing it an aggregate rating of 7.8 out of 10, or a C+ for this episode. I don't know that I would call it this. Again, I think I may disagree with this one, but maybe not. We'll see by the time we get there to the end of this episode. The writer for this episode was Kyle Hadimoto, and this is the last episode from Mr. Hadimoto, so this wasn't a bad outing for his last outing. That was a terrible turn of phrase, but it wasn't a bad episode for his last one. It was directed by John Fortenberry, and John Fortenberry has an IMDb history with some interesting turns on it. So John's directorial debut was for Kids in the Hall, all the way back in 88. He did 12 episodes of The Ben Stiller Show. He did 2 episodes of Arliss. And I'm bringing that up because of the stuff that he's done. That's probably the closest to Las Vegas up until the point where he gets to Las Vegas. Otherwise, he's a sitcom director. He directs a lot of sitcom stuff, including, DAG, the Delta Burke and David Alan Grier show. It's Like You Know for 14 episodes. DAG was for 10 episodes, 12 episodes of The Ben Stiller Show. He does 6 episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond. So yeah, he's a sitcom director. And then he does this episode of Las Vegas. I wonder if it was for a check. I wonder if it was, just kind of to pay some bills off or whatever. He then does an episode of Psych and 2 episodes of Studio 60 on Sunset Strip. And the only reason I bring that up is because I love that show. And 1 episode of Viva Laughlin. He betrayed us. You could tell he's not true to the Las Vegas game because he betrayed us and he went to Viva Laughlin after this. He did Rescue Me for a lot of episodes. 26 of the full show, 9 of the mini episodes. The latest thing you can see him direct was 3 episodes of A Million Little Things, starring Psych's very own James Roday Rodriguez. And that's interesting because A Million Little Things, from what I understand, is a heavy, heavy drama. So he has this long lineage of sitcoms, a couple of things like Las Vegas and Studio 60 here or there. And then he ends with some super heavy stuff like that. He did The Rookie. He ends with, although very recently he still was doing sitcoms. So he's mostly a sitcom director. But this episode isn't necessarily hijinksy, but there are some jokes. There are some good jokes in here. There are some good gags in this episode. So maybe that's where those came from, or how those were shot, how those were directed. Maybe that's where those came from. This episode starts with a great whoosh sequence as we whoosh over the desert side of Las Vegas. And actually, if you're looking at this whoosh, then the Montecito is located right across from Mandalay Bay. So next time you're in Vegas and you see Mandalay Bay, look across the street, and that's where the Montecito should be. We then whoosh from there so that we know we're watching. That's the whole reason for that. We whoosh from there into the cityscape where we see some kids on a football field, and it looks like it's a Pee-wee game. We whoosh down the line of scrimmage, and we see our coaches. It's the kings of the Montecito, Danny and Mike, and a queen, Delinda. Delinda as a football coach? That's interesting. And Danny yells out, so right off the gate, we're starting with amazing character names. You love to see that. 10 out of 10, no notes. We're looking at the scoreboard. The Montecito has 17. The Palms has 21 points. And we have 7 seconds left to go in this game. The Montecito Lancers are about to do a run play over to the outside, and Mary's on the sidelines too, as we see go back to the sidelines, and the boys are kind of watching the action. And this is a cool whoosh here, so I'll give this one to our boy, to Mr. Fortenberry here. He's some really good direction in terms of the whooshing. We're whooshing through the action on the Pee Wee football field. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching the action on the Pee Wee football field, there is one kid who I guess you could call him the safety on the defense. He's the one that's furthest out at the goal line. He's just standing there. Not only is he just standing there, he's standing there with one arm folded under the other and just kind of playing with his mouthpiece. I guess the process of standing through the whoosh was too boring for him. And he couldn't stay in an action pose or anything like that. So he definitely looks like he's just waiting for the shot to be over. The player goes through and hits a touchdown and crosses the goal line just as the game ends, which I looked at, and the way they shot that is interesting because he crosses the goal line, but the clock keeps running in under a second, and it shouldn't. It should have stopped once he crossed the goal line. So there really should be like a second left on the clock for the other team to do something if they decide to do something, but they, I guess not. But that's not important because the Montecito Lancers won. Now, here is what is important. What's important is that we've got a musical cue through this whole scene. And the musical cue is, if you're watching on all versions, then the musical cue is Heavy Action by Johnny Pearson. Heavy Action is also known as colloquially as the Monday Night Football theme. I don't know that it's the theme of Monday Night Football. We've heard All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight. I don't know if it's the theme, but it's definitely used underneath Monday Night Football specifically. Like, I don't think it's used on NBC airings of football or Fox airings of football. It's like ABC exclusive Monday Night Football. But the song isn't Monday Night Football. It's called Heavy Action by Johnny Pearson. That's on all versions. But the Montecito Lancers win. Everybody's celebrating. It's a great time. We hear that the Palms team that they beat are called the Ghosts. Is it Ghost Bar at the Palm? Is that why? Okay. But the Montecito team is victorious. They're incredibly happy about that because they're going to the championship. And we get to see the Maloofs come over. I guess the Maloofs have taken time to coach their Pee Wee team. And it's like, sure, the Maloofs are taking the time to coach a Pee Wee football team. But okay, so the Montecito Lancers are going to the championship. Everybody's celebrating and happy. And Danny gives an inspirational speech to the team, but so does Delinda.
Right. The championship! All right, so I want you to eat well this week, get lots of rest, because next week I need you to leave it all out there on the field. Because after Saturday, no more football for a year. And another thing...
Okay. It was a great little speech. We've got more important matters to take care of. In order for our uniform colors to pop...
okay, do you want to talk to...
You need to have them dry cleaned, okay? Because they will bleed. That material is not color fast. Is that understood? Yes. Okay, be bold, be bright.
Thank you, Coach Delinda. Give it up for Coach Delinda. Thank you. Okay.
It's funny watching Danny kind of freak out and walk away from the conversation. And I was just thinking as I was watching this now, I wonder if that's what Molly Sims is like with her kids. Because if you follow her on Instagram, she's posting pictures and videos of her kids playing sports all the time, soccer and stuff like that. While it's funny, Molly Sims really kind of is living the life of Delinda. Lots of fashion choices, lots of traveling. She really is Delinda in a lot of ways. But she's also posting her kids' soccer and sports activity pictures and stuff like that. And it's like, I wonder how Delinda she is in those moments. Like, it's not like she can definitely send their kids stuff out to get dry cleaned. Like, it's not like it's any matter of convenience or money or anything like that. So I wonder if that's how, or if is she just basic and does it in a washing machine. She is from Kentucky. But Delinda as a coach definitely has comedy gold to mine from that. And we see Mary come up and talk to Danny after the fact. And this is a good scene, too.
Doing a great job. Those kids love you. Good game.
This is a continuation of what I was talking about in the last episode, where you see the chemistry between Danny and Mary again, finally. Mary is giving off a vibe, and this is something I didn't necessarily pick up off of when I was younger, but I'm definitely picking up on it now because I've seen more of it in real life, where women are attracted to qualities in a guy that shows that he can be a good dad and or is good around kids. You know, we talked about the trope of Mike walking around with baby Carter before, right? Like, I've seen, that's the sort of surface level version of that, but I've seen that play out in grander scale and other things and more, more intimate things. Just the way, like, you talk to a kid sometimes when like, oh my, like, start getting all flutter. And you can kind of see that with Mary here in this scene. Like, it's not even about Danny winning or anything like that. She likes how Danny is around the kids, and so much so that she says,
Meet me in the showers.
Really? Because I will.
Then do it. Then go. What are you waiting for? Okay, you're in a public park around kids. Sure, maybe not in the park, but take her home. She's your fiance, for crying out loud. And while you take her home, Danny McCoy, by the way, it's not like he needs any help. It's not like him being good with kids is, you know what I mean? Like, he could probably kick a kid down the road and still be considered the sexiest man in all of Sexyville. As we have been told by the writers over and over again, Danny McCoy is the sexiest man in all the sexiest land. And the sexiest land is Las Vegas. And he is the sexiest man in the sexiest land of all the lands. He's the sexiest of all the men in all the lands and all the sexiest of sexiest lands. And we cut to the intro. And this is an intro that listen, if you're watching this on a streaming service, and that streaming service asks you, do you want to skip the intro? Skip that streaming service. Skip it. Just skip the streaming service. And the streaming service. The screaming and the streaming service. Why? Because the Las Vegas intro is the best damn intro in the business. You do not skip the Las Vegas intro. No one does. And you shouldn't. Anyway, as we come back from the intro that we certainly did not skip, you see Ed coming into surveillance, and he's talking to Mitch about the Lancers, about the Montecito Lancers. And I looked this up. Montecito Lancers, the team name really kind of probably stems from the history of Montecito and the settlers from Spain that came through and colonized it, etc. Probably another nod from GST to the city of Montecito, California, and his wish to one day have enough money to get a residence there. Now, I don't know how he's doing these days. Like, I've heard he's done some kind of little car movie. I think he got a sequel or 10. And so he might now have enough money to live in Montecito. Either way, he should just own the place because, after all,
he's the puppet master.
He is the puppet master, Sam. That's right. So Ed is talking to Mitch and that ugly. Oh, there's no frame where that mustache looks good. I just paused it right now, where Ed got a cup of coffee, and there's no frame where that mustache fits on Mitch's face. Mitch's face is he's a model, for crying out loud. You don't get rid of the stupid thing. I will never not talk about how ugly Mitch's mustache is until he shaves that stupid thing off his lip. I'll never not talk about how ugly his mustache is. But Ed is talking about the Lancers. He's ignoring the mustache, because I suppose you would have to. They're talking about Delinda's coaching skills, going back and forth. I like this. We're opening up more with Mitch. I like this. One good thing about this episode is that we're going to see more of a couple of different side characters, not necessarily all recurring characters, but it opens up the world. It kind of colors in, fills in the world, makes it feel more lived in. Mitch feels more like a lived in coworker that you would see on a regular basis, and make jokes about Delinda's coaching skills being more about the color coordination of the of the uniforms, which we've already seen and demonstrated, right? You could do that. That's good. And this scene where Nessa walks in.
I hear our wins are all because Delinda's play calling.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the heck she's doing out there, but I'll guarantee you we're color coordinated and that the lemonade's pink. Yeah.
Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hi, Ness.
Mitch, are you flirting with one of my favorite queens? Is that, Mitch, is that just a friendly, hi, Mitch? That looks a little, is that a friendly hi? Because we'll find, listen, and the reason why I'm asking about that is if you know anything about Mitch, we will find out about Mitch. Listen. Former models, all I'm saying. So Nessa comes in, and she needs to talk to Ed about something quite serious. Apparently, one of her dealers is missing, and she talks about how this dealer has a kid who's playing on the Lancers and an ex-wife who's in the Keno pit here at the Montecito, and the kid and the ex-wife are, accounted for, but they can't find this guy. And this guy, the reason why it's a thing is because he's a model employee. He never calls in sick, never late or takes off or anything. And when people went to go check his apartment, it was dark and it looked like he hadn't been there for days. Something is up, and Nessa's antenna are up. And I wonder if her antenna are up a little bit more after dealing with Vita Brighton. But for whatever reason, she's a little bit more apprehensive about what's going on. And so Ed has decided that he's going to look into it and they're going to talk to the ex-wife. In the meantime, Ed gets a visit from Mr. Brunson. And Mr. Brunson's assistant is back asking for the peppermint candy cane ice cream. And Brunson is back, not for the last time. We're going to see Brunson again. We're going to see him again, but same bombastic Mr. Brunson. He doesn't just come in just to come in. He's going to shake something up here at the Montecito. In walks a lovely young lady who Mr. Brunson informs Ed is going to be one of the casino hosts, the new casino hosts for the Atlantic City location of the Montecito, and he brought her here to get personal training from the very best. Now, before we talk about their meeting, let's talk about this lovely young lady. You recognize her face. I know you do. You have to have recognized her face. That's Lindsay Price. Lindsay Price has been around for a while. Lindsay Price, and I don't mean that pejoratively, Lindsay Price is a veteran in the game. Her face is quite familiar to a lot of people, certainly to me. She started, the first big prominent thing a lot of people saw her in was a Toys R Us commercial in 82. And then the updated version of it 15 years later in 97. I remember that updated version. And I remember seeing that updated version of Lindsay Price like, oh my. Yeah, Lindsay Price is an attractive young lady. She is quite easy on the eye. She started her career, her first credited role, aside from the Toys R Us commercial, is in Days of Our Lives. That's at the bottom of her IMDb, but it says 1994, so I'm not sure about that. Let's shoot up to 1984, which makes more sense. In Finder of Lost Loves as Lan. She then goes on to star in why, of course, All My Children. Say hi to Josh Duhamel for me. She plays Anne Lee Chin Bodine for 176 episodes of All My Children. Why? Because Las Vegas loves its soap stars. She then goes on to do The Bold and the Beautiful. That's right, for 165 episodes as Michelle Lai. Why? Because Las Vegas loves their soap stars. She also did an episode of Boy Meets World as Linda in 93, which I do remember. I do actually remember that I think about it. She then goes on to star in Yeah, why not? Why not? Say hi to Sam for me. She goes in as Jeanette Sosna Sanders for 71 episodes of Beverly Hills 90210. This girl here. Why? Because Las Vegas loves their soap stars. That's right. She then goes on to do 11 episodes. Well, she does 3 episodes of Becker, and I bring that up because I love Becker. Becker's a good show. Do I remember those 3 episodes? I don't remember those 3 episodes, but she does them. And I'd have to go back and rewatch Becker, actually. I used to watch it all the time. She then goes on to do 11 episodes of... No, we won't admit we love you because you're the American version of Coupling, and nobody loved the American version of Coupling. Now, Lindsay Price apparently did the theme song to that. She did the Americanized version of Perhaps. Now, that would make her the second Coupling star who I think Las Vegas was like, or I think NBC was like, all right, listen, we fucked up. Sorry, here's another check. So they gave her this episode of Las Vegas as Mia Duncan. We'll later find out her name is. She then goes on to do, this is a kind of a series where she, a stretch of time where she's trying to find her starring vehicle. So she does 13 episodes of Pepper Dennis, didn't go anywhere. She does 20 episodes of Lipstick Jungle alongside Brooke Shields, didn't go anywhere. Even though it was, and both of those shows got hype, but they just kind of fell flat. She also did something with Cat Williams called Lonely Streets in 2008 as Felicia Quattlebaum. I bring that up because it's Cat Williams and also because it starred Jay Moore. Ugh. More on him later this season, I think. She then goes on to do 2 episodes of Love Bites. I bring that up because that was another good show, good little anthology show that just kind of fizzled out. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. She does... Hawaii Five-O! The Scotty Conn version. Yes, she does. 3 episodes, don't you know, as Leilani in that show. Yada, yada, yada. She does a couple other things, and she does Splitting Up Together for 25 episodes is one of the latest things that she's done. The latest thing that one of the latest, most prominent things she's done. The latest thing that she's done is something called Atypical as Sasha for 2 episodes. That's Lindsay Price. Lindsay Price tends to play, at least in the 2000s, she tended to play the young, either cute or hot girl. I don't know if naive. There was always a little bit of I think she always found her way into roles where, and we'll see a lot of that here, where she started, or at least you as the viewer kind of started to see her as maybe naive. And then there was a turn somewhere, and she ended up either being conniving or finding... Really, I don't even know if she was necessarily the good girl and a lot of stuff. A lot of that. It was like kind of being a little bit, the kind of almost conniving person on a show. And we'll see that in this episode. But Lindsay Price, aside from all that, is apparently a longtime friend of Tiffany Thiessen, which would make sense. They were on... Well, I guess not. You're always friends with your coworkers, and we'll see that a little bit later too as she meets back up with one of her coworkers in Samantha Jane Marquez, but we're not there just yet. Right now we're still in the introductory phase of this character, and in that introductory phase it's made abundantly clear that Mia and Mr. Brunson work together openly. That's what they claim. However, they're going to be sharing a suite together. The excuse is...
Mr. Brunson doesn't believe Miss Duncan should occupy a room that would otherwise generate corporate income.
I see.
Sure, that sounds plausible. But also, It's readily apparent what's happening here. And listen, Mr. Brunson, I don't blame you. Meanwhile, we shoot into Sam's office. I think this is the first time we actually see Sam's office here in the Montecito. I didn't even know necessarily that she would have an office, because she seems like she's either in her room, either getting ready to leave or seduce another casino host or something, or on the go. Constantly on the go. I didn't even know that she would have an office, but she does have an office, and she's talking to a whale who, according to her computer screen, has a net worth of $12,388,000, which translated into today's money means that whale is worth $20,972,313.46. That is a mighty big whale, and that whale is asking for his suite that he liked so much again. And Sam is being Sam, her normal charming self, and is immediately met with a knock on the door and barged in by Mr. Brunson.
Excuse me, could you wait outside?
I could, Samantha Jane, but then I'd be depriving myself of your beautiful face.
Call you back. Mr. Brunson.
Again, this is one of the few times, we talked about this before, Sam put down her phone talking to a client only on a couple of different occasions. When Richard Allen Wesley had her in that elevator, she ended the call. When Mary was breaking down after her dad came to see her in Always Faithful, Sam put down the call. And when Mr. Brunson comes in, Sam put down... By the way, that's all you could maybe call them tragedies. All negative things. Certainly to Sam. I don't think Sam is particularly partial to Mr. Brunson necessarily, especially after the way he introduced himself to the Montecito staff, but it is what it is. Sam is, she's doing what she has to do. She's introduced to Mia Duncan, and Mr. Brunson not shoves, not pushes, tells Sam she's going to train Mia. Even though Sam is very open about she does not want to, she's not good with that.
I'm not so good at explaining things or teaching things. In fact, I don't really work well with others unless they're rich. Clients of ours or potential clients. I have a girlfriend, Danielle Sander. She works at the Flamingo. I think she'd be so perfect
I'll
for
just
this.
leave you and Mia to get better acquainted before you start showing her the ropes.
It's too bad, Sam. It's over. Brunson's here, and he's not even... He's more blunt than it. Ed tries to assuage to your better nature, and maybe threaten, maybe like a vague, you're gonna do what you're told. Brunson doesn't care if you think you're gonna do what you're told. It's the assignment's out there, and I'm leaving because I got other things to do. And he's got his shaving thing, so he's leaving Mia with Sam, and Mia is sitting there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed so far. Let's let the dealer shuffle the deck for a second, and we'll be right back.
I assume you're interested in large amounts of money.
It's Vegas, who isn't?
If you like the podcast and you want to help support it, you can send a Cash App, join our Patreon or Subscribe Star, or buy us a coffee. Just search The Podecito on all those platforms. We go into surveillance, and the waitress, the Keno host, is brought up to the surveillance room, to Ed's office specifically, with Mike as well as Nessa, and they're talking about what happened to her ex-husband and where he is. Her ex-husband Mark, and where he is. Well, it turns out Mark might be on a bender.
He has an addiction.
Oh, what drugs?
Inventions.
He goes on inventing benders.
Actually, yeah. And to do that, he's spent everything that we had, our savings, our IRAs.
Where does Mark usually go to do this inventing?
Different places, but they always have to be super secret because, he always thinks somebody's out to steal his next great idea.
Now, that's interesting, because in that moment that she's talking to the security staff and Nessa, she mentions that Mark went through their savings, their IRA and stuff, and that's probably what led to the divorce, because monetary issues are, at least they were for a long time. Now things might have shifted a bit, but monetary issue actually may not, and or may be coming back. Money is, or at least was, the biggest reason for divorce in America. So that's right on track. We go to the casino floor and people are playing craps and they immediately crap out. And wouldn't you know, as they're doing that, Mia and Sam just happen to be walking by. I wonder if that is a foreshadow of anything. Mia in the dark colors, Sam in the bright colors. Sam is really not trying to be around Mia and not trying to train her at all. But Mia puts on and this is what I'm talking about with Lindsay Price characters. Sam is, only reluctantly walking around with her, having her there. She says, I don't want you to be here. You probably don't want to be doing this. But Brunson owns things, and here we are. And as soon as she says that...
I don't want to be doing this. I'm sure you probably don't really want to be doing this, but Brunson owns the Montecito, so here we are.
The pouting. Did you see the pouting? And it seemed to work for a second. The pouting seems to work. Sam says, fine, follow me around, see if you can learn anything. So, okay, Mia, Sam is going to try to work with you. Mitch tells Danny that he's got a visitor, and it's Brent, our quarterback for the Montecito Lancers, as well as the greatest named character on all the characters in Las Vegas. Don't at me. It's just a fact. And he's sitting in the conference room, and he's worried about his pops. Ed comes in even, and this youngster is so cute and cherubish, and he's got a video of his dad from Dad's Day, just in case anybody doesn't have pictures of him, doesn't know what he looks like while they're out looking for him. Now, a couple things here. First off, he works at the Montecito. I'm sure they have pictures of him. They have cameras everywhere. They know exactly what he looks like. But it's a interesting scene because it allows you to connect with this kid a little bit more, and he's going to be a big factor in the episode, bigger than you think. And it allows you to see more and care more about this father character that we've never even seen up until this point in this episode. This kid, Brent, the greatest named character in all of Las Vegas. Again, I'm trying to warn you, don't at me. This kid is named Chance Miller, or Chancellor Miller, and he was born in a very familiar place to one of our queens, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky. That's right. Not too far away from our very own Queen Delinda DeLine, a.k.a. Molly Sims. He has a small IMDb relatively. It looks like he kind of traded things off. He moved back to Kentucky in 2010 because he wanted to go to high school in his hometown, and so he did. And so that's kind of the end of this kid's career. He did tour with Radio Disney, though, with a group called Jam X Kids, Jammx Kids, in 2006, and even had a single written by Randy Jackson for American Idol called Keep You Dancing. I should listen to it, but I actually haven't listened to it yet. And through the magic and miracle of podcasting, I did just listen to the song. It's cool. It's a cool little dance song. The group, I guess it was a movie. I guess they're trying to start a franchise or something with it, Jam X Kids, because it doesn't even necessarily have it as a group. It has it as a movie, so sort of a video. But it had our boy Chance Miller, and it also had Allison Stoner and Bobby J. And the music video for that song had Shaq in the video, but he didn't rap or anything. He just danced along with everybody else for no reason whatsoever. But our boy Chance here, his filmography includes Disney sing-along songs, Brother Bear, On My Way, Video Dancer in 2003. That was his first credit. He then did ER as Brett, which is very close to the best name I've ever heard a character name, but not quite. Then does this episode of Las Vegas. He then does The Pipeline and goes to Monk the next year. He then does Crossing Jordan for an episode, but as a character named Tyler in 2007, not as Brent, which is the best name. Again, I'll say it for the character. He is most known for 3 Investigations. I guess there were a couple of movies of those where he played Jupiter Jones in those, and the latest thing he did was the Queen of Screams in 2009 as Jason Abercrombie. Like I said, short career, but this episode right here, you can kind of see why you would want to cast him. He reminds me of Max. What was that kid that movie? Max Riddle's something or other. Hold on, this is the age because I was an adult when this came out. Hold on, Keeble. It was Max Keeble's Big Move. He reminds me of that kid, Alex D. Linz, and that was probably to Chance's detriment. Is that Alex D. Linz had a bigger profile than him at around the same time. That was probably to his detriment. But he's here and he's asking Ed and Danny to take a look at shots of him and his dad. And you can see the connection that the two of them have as the dad is teaching him how to play baseball. Now, he says that that's dad day at camp. There's no other kids in the video, and it looks like it's shot at the same park as they did the Montecito Lancers gimmick, but here it is. It does help, again, still paint the picture, fill in the blanks, fill in the world here. And we see, and there's another picture of him and his dad in a basketball court, which, again, might have been shot at the same park. Because many parks have indoor basketball courts. It might have been shot at the same place. Okay, cool. In this conversation, we hear that our boy Brent gets a call from his dad every day.
I mean, no one even knows where my dad is. He calls me every night.
Every night?
Well, every night before he got lost.
That's nice of him.
It's kind of a secret. I don't know why, but Mom doesn't even know about it.
And that could be for various reasons. It could just be that things got so acrimonious between his dad and his mom that, they just can't necessarily talk to each other like that. And he does drop that his dad was actually at the game. And that piques the interest of Danny and Ed because that's going to help them find him. So we cut from that scene into Belisara, and Sam is working over her clients, and Mia is following very, very close behind and drops a card and says, if you have any issues, call us. That's the first thing that we see. Sam then walks out of Belisara, but she notices that her shadow is not right behind her. Instead, she's sticking around in Belisara. So Sam was talking to one of her clients, Dr. Magelli, who said that he was fine, but then here comes Mia draping herself all over Dr. Magelli. And Sam immediately is having none of it with her new protege.
Aw, come on, Dr. Magelli. If you gamble, I'm sure there's something I can think of that might make your stay more enjoyable. Ow! Ow! Sam! Ow, it's my arm.
Let's make something crystal clear. First of all, do not speak to my clients. And second of all, do not drape yourself all over them like a hooker. Sweetie, it is not our job to get them to gamble.
Oh, I thought that a casino host got paid by how much their clients lose, so I was just trying to help us make more money.
No, there's no us. I get paid based on how much my clients wager, win or lose.
But...
Okay.
So that scene was fantastic because Sam, first off, we've seen Sam in the recent episodes get more and more snippy, more and more edgy, more and more pointy, I guess would be a good assertion for Sam's personality in these last episodes. But also what we're seeing is Mia is overstepping her bounds. Now, at this point in watching the episode, you're not sure if she's overstepping them on purpose or if it's not on purpose. Maybe. You might still have questions about whether it's purposeful or not. Sam doesn't care. Sam doesn't care, though there was a hint of, there was a hint of I wonder what this is all about in Sam's demeanor there. And again, you saw Sam wanting to knock her out. Sam wanted to kick Mia in the face, but she couldn't. She had to restrain herself, and that's a good lesson after the last episode, with her talk with Ed about, getting along with somebody because you have to. She has to try to make this work. So we're back in another portion of actually it's the same portion of Belisara. We're back in Belisara. Although we didn't see Ed the last last portion of that. Hold on. Yeah, so I was right. So we cut back to Belisara, but it has to have been some kind of a time jump because Ed wasn't in that scene previously in this seat. And I looked at that. The seat was completely blank. Ed wasn't there. But the same first couple that Mia and Sam talked to when they came into Belisara are still in Belisara. So it must be a time jump. Also, Ed ordered food and has a beer, and the beer is about half drunk, and the burger is about half ate. So it wasn't even like, I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt and say maybe Ed ordered something and was on his way down, but the burger's half ate. So there has to have been a time jump there, but we're in Belisara, and Mike is excited because he's got our boy Mark's invention, but it's not quite sure what it is. And Luis has given Mike 24 hours to figure out exactly what it is, but that is the catalyst for our boy Mark not being around. You see, he put out a patent on it, but something's up with it. And in the again very next scene, it's Mike and Danny walking the casino floor without the orb, without the big metallic circle thing that they placed on Ed's desk or on the counter that Ed was eating on. So again, we got a time jump here. If you're going to have these scenes back to back, some continuity is a bit amiss here, because did they take it back upstairs and then bring it back down? That means it's a time jump. They didn't just leave Belisara, apparently. But these guys are walking the floor. Our kings are walking the floor as they're trying to figure out exactly what that orb is, what it does. And they're met by Jake, a security guard here at the Montecito. Now, in watching this, Jake comes off to me like somebody that somebody knows. You know what I mean? Like not the character that somebody knows. He's played by a guy named Tony Jones, and I can't find anything on him. At first, you know, especially around that time, I thought, is this Rodney Peete? And that would make sense. You know, a cameo from a former football player, that would make sense, right? No, it's not Rodney Peete. It's a guy named Tony Jones who's got no acting experience before or after this. This is the only acting credit he has. I can't find him as any kind of athlete anywhere. I couldn't find him as like a local celebrity to like Las Vegas, as like maybe a newscaster or something, because he's not an actor. He's certainly not an actor. The way he's reciting these lines, he's certainly not an actor. And one wouldn't think that he would get screen time like this if he wasn't an actor. I don't recall him being an extra. I don't recall him seeing him in the background of episodes and stuff, and they're kind of trying him out, you know, the similar way they did Mitch. I don't recall seeing him in other episodes. Maybe he was in the background, but I don't recall him. He's not as prominent as a Mitch was, or Greg will be, and or has already been even in this episode. So I'm not sure where this guy kind of comes from, but this is his only credit. And he comes up to, he's not bad, but he comes off like, hey, here's a cameo. He comes off like a cameo, and he's even shot like a cameo. And like every time he's brought on screen, like the character's mentioning his name, like it feels like, was he a contest winner or something? Like he's not, like he's comfortable in front of the camera. Like he's clearly not. He doesn't necessarily seem nervous, but he doesn't necessarily have the line reading chops. You know what I mean? He comes off like, hey, here is former football player that we got for the show isn't on a football episode, right? Like we'll see another cameo later on, and the way they do their cameo feels like a cameo. feels like a cameo, and this feels like it too. But he's talking to the Kings, to the coaches, about a couple of plays that they could maybe do with the Lancers, because one of his kids is on the team. And the Kings are open to his suggestion, but they really would like him to help round up some of the videos from the game, really, so they could try to find Mark a little bit better. But they're not going to let him know that. In the meantime, Coach Delinda chimes in, and she's got some suggestions of her own.
Speaking of our game plan,
yeah,
I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I really think that the Black Sox will go better with the home jerseys.
Yeah, we'll jump right on that.
Hey, guys. Just remember, a stylish team is a confident team. Woo!
Why do we let her on the field?
So the guys are met again by Lynn, the ex-wife of our boy Mark. And she tells the Kings that when money dried up, Mark had to try to go to a loan shark.
Hey, guys. I'm sorry. I thought of something else. I don't want anything bad to happen to Mark.
No, none of us do.
Well, when the bank money dried up, I remember him saying something about going to a loan shark.
Did he mention any particular loan shark?
No, but, maybe he was just trying to rile me up. It was right around the time we were going to split up, so...
Thank you. We'll keep that in mind.
Now, that's interesting, that he would try to go to a loan shark. More interesting is how they talk about loan sharks here, the Kings do.
Mark is crazy if he went to the streets for money.
I got shot in the leg by a loan shark. I know. Better aim and I'd be dead.
I know.
Sure, Danny, better aim and you'd be dead. That is right, yes, and that was a thing that happened. Another thing that happened was that your friend was killed by a loan shark. In the first episode, your close, personal, childhood friend that's as close to you as Mary was killed by a loan shark. Was killed by a loan shark. In the first episode. You found out about it in the second episode of the show. Your childhood friend, your lifelong childhood friend. Remember him? Greg. You had a whole thing about it. It was supposed to take up the whole season, but it only took up 2 episodes. What? Where? No mention of that? No talk of Greg? Yes, of course. Yes, you got shot in the leg. We all know that. We also all know that your friend died from a loan shark. We all know that because all the main characters, were at the funeral, were at the repast at Belisara. Weird continuity. Weird continuity there. Yeah. I mean, were they talking, they did not want to bring down the tone of the show too hard, but a mention, you can mention it. So we're back in surveillance and the Kings are trying to go over the game film. Mike mentions that George Lucas edits his videos on this. They're on Windows Media Player. No, Lucas did not edit his films on that. No, he didn't, Mike. So they spot Mark in the game film over on the side there. And this is the first time we see Mark. And I thought about that because I was looking at the opening scene of this episode and we actually don't see Mark. They edited. I thought that might be a nice little Easter egg, but we don't see him. But we do see him here, and here he's getting picked up by a visitor with a gun.
SUV pulls up. Looks like he's got a visitor. 11:42 a.m.
Whoa.
With a gun? Well, he's not from the patent office.
No, he's not, Ed. He's got some evil intent in mind. Mike is going to have to do some digging on who this guy is. They did some research on the car. It's stolen, and they got to do facial rec for it. Meanwhile, we see Mary talked to by Jake. And again, this is another scene that another thing that makes it really feel like a cameo. The way Jake kind of pops up out of nowhere for this. He gets the lines to say for this. Like it's a weird. Was he always in the background? Did we never see him before? It feels like a cameo, just slightly out of place. Again, not bad. He's not bad. He feels like a cameo. He feels like somebody with not a lot of experience, who's in this, is in this role and sounds like he's slightly reciting lines like a celebrity would when they come onto a show just to make a guest appearance. But he's asking Mary to use her influence with Ed to try to sway Ed to allow the day shift to take a couple of hours off to go to their kids' big championship game.
We heard you have a lot of pull with Mr. DeLine.
In what galaxy did you hear that?
Me and a few of the other staff members, we have kids playing in that championship game this weekend, and we love to go. But we're scheduled to work weekend day. Now, our supervisor is saying we can't get the schedule changed unless Mr. DeLine okays it. We'd really appreciate it.
I'll see what I can do.
The sway that Mary has with Ed. You see, Mary doesn't agree that she has any with him. But she does. She knows she does. Like, she's joking, but she knows she does. We cut to Ed, and he's not introducing himself. He's greeting our next cameos, the Black Eyed Peas. Now, see, this feels like a cameo. Again, that scene right next to the other scene feels like a cameo. Real life Black Eyed Peas that are here for this episode. As far as Black Eyed Peas are concerned, in terms of their acting ability or whatever, it's like, yeah. As a group, they basically just either appear as themselves or they're on award shows or whatever, so there's no IMDb to go through. I'm not going to go through the individual ones because that movie that Will.i.am was in, he was trashing it, and everybody knows he was trashing it. But this is the first time that something happens, and we know what that first time. It's very apropos and poetic because as the Black Eyed Peas are leaving, Fergie's the last one to leave Ed's sight, and she whispers to Ed,
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Damn it, your assistant's fine.
My assistant?
Yeah.
I never noticed.
Turns out that wouldn't just be a line that was said. It turns out that Miss Fergalicious believed the hype. She believed it. She believed the hype. We've been told multiple times by the writers of this show that Danny McCoy is the sexiest man amongst all the sexiest men in the sexiest land, Las Vegas, all the sexiest land of the sexiest land. And not only did Fergie believe it on the show, Fergie believed it in real life and married herself to little Josh Duhamel. They've since been divorced, and Josh has a new wife and baby and all that other stuff. I don't have I've mentioned before, I said it's interesting the X situations with with the actors of Las Vegas. Fergie of the X's is certainly the least problematic or anything. My only issue with Fergie has ever only been that she had a way too much exposure for a period of time. The only issue I had with Fergie was that you couldn't escape her for a minute, and it was like, okay, I don't need to turn on every time I turn on the radio, hear Fergalicious. Every time I walk into a store, I have to hear Fergalicious. Every time I go anywhere other than my house, I'm forced to hear Fergalicious every time, all day, every day. That was the only issue. That's really the only issue I ever had with Fergie. And the Black Eyed Peas, I had issues with Fergie and the Black Eyed Peas in that they and her, they first, then her, were overexposed for a while. There's way too, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing them for a while, and that's the problem I had with them. But so yes, Fergie is by far probably the best of the exes of the Las Vegas cast members. She is shooting her interest at Ed, and I wonder if that was a line that was written specifically for the show, or if it was noticed that this was happening and they threw it in the show. I wonder which came first, the chicken or the egg. Was it that line and somebody shot their shot, or what was it? Either way, Danny goes over after the Black Eyed Peas leave, but he doesn't get to meet them in this instance. So we're in Sam's office again. I guess they want to make the most use out of this particular set. Ed comes in telling Sam how much he is appreciative of the time that she spent with Mia. Sam doesn't know anything about this because Sam ditched Mia a long time ago. Well, it turns out while Sam was ditching Mia, Mia was picking up Dr. Magelli. Had Dr. Magelli to the point where he was playing.
The guy played during an Illinois game, and he never, ever plays during an Illinois game.
He was playing so much, pardon the pun, that he played his way to losing $500,000 in that couple of hours. Now, that $500,000 that Dr. Magelli lost comes to, in today's money, $846,476.97. That's a lot of money that he's lost over a couple of hours, and Sam is visibly annoyed at this prospect. And it gets even worse because in comes our dear Lindsay Price, aka Mia, just to get her purse that she happened to forget. And Ed goes ahead and leaves because I think he could see the top of Sam's volcano about to blow. And even Ed doesn't want to be a part of that.
I know you have some mentoring to do, so I'm going to leave you two alone.
Sit your ass down.
Hi.
Mia sits down for what is sure to be quite the talking to as we whoosh out of Sam's office, back over the strip and into the casino. And Delinda and Mary are having a conversation. Delinda is starstruck by the Black Eyed Peas, which is interesting because it seemed earlier on that Ed knew the Black Eyed Peas already. And we're going to see another scene with them as well that, again, kind of contradicts this a little bit. But the main focus of this scene is that Mary is asking Delinda if she can give her a little advice on how to talk to Ed. And Delinda does give her advice and says,
No, I don't really think you're blowing things out of proportion. I mean, Daddy can be pretty scary, especially if he thinks you're getting the entire day shift to gang up on him. In that case, he might get downright mean. You'll know because he has this little vein in his neck that kind of ridges up and looks like it's going to explode.
I have the image in my mind. Thank you.
See you later.
that's not helpful to Mary. She definitely was looking for some sort of actual... She definitely was looking for some sort of actual technique on how to deal tactfully with Ed to get her way. Not necessarily understanding that Delinda gets her way because she's Daddy's little girl. Like, it's not just because she's figured Ed out. She is born with how to get to Ed.
Why don't you take a little break?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna stretch the legs, wash the face, refocus.
There you go.
I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice place, with a nice smile on my nice face. Turn your back and I'm making sure my night's straight. And when you're out of town, I'll be making sure your wife's straight.
You're listening to Mr. Nice Guy by 1989 TRE. If you like what you're hearing, you want to hear it again or hear more, just go to soundcloud.com/1989TRE, all one word, soundcloud.com/1989TRE.
Scared of the moment, cracking under the pressure, hearing the tick-tock like I'm listening to Kesha. Yeah, right, I love the spotlight, I just lurk in the shadow.
So we shoot into a room and we've got basically kind of the main four of this episode, the Kings, the Ace, and our Queen Nessa in a room. And quick little aside here from Ed.
What the heck am I doing up here? Wait a second, we interrupting something? You know, we can come back.
No, guys, come on in.
The chemistry between the cast has gelled already. Like, we've seen the chemistry between them, but it's really super gelling here so far. And Mike tries to explain to Ed what they're doing in the room.
Trust me, Ed, this thing is the bomb.
It's a bomb?
No, Ed.
No, it's not a bomb, Ed. What it is an ionizer that is going to help.
Holy... Get me housekeeping up here. This is disgusting.
Yeah, I know, Ed. I know. That room is disgusting. But listen, the ionizer that Mike has in his hand is the invention that Mark was taking all the time off for and was trying to fund. And the science behind it apparently seems legit enough for the show. And in so doing, we see that in just a few seconds, the entire room is sanitized.
All right, now I've heard rumors of something like this on the horizon, but I never thought it was possible.
Yeah. What just happened?
This orb sanitizes a whole room using an ionization process. You see, the copper and silver in coins kills bacteria and wishing well.
So, what you're saying is that blue light just killed all the bacteria and all the germs in this room.
Exactly. No more traveling with your own pillows, wiping down your room with Lysol.
You wipe,
No, I don't. I just heard I don't wipe.
So that is why Mark was trying to get the money to fund that, as particularly underground. Because something tells me, now mind you, here's the problem with this. Here's one issue I have with this. That kind of technology, that kind of... For something like that to truly exist and be marketable, to be on the market, there's people above that. There's whole businesses and industries built on other ways of cleaning, built on dirt, built on all sorts of other things, that would not want that to get out. That would not want that to really be a thing. And so even if Mark gets the funding and puts it on the market, what fate would behold, even if he didn't get in trouble with the loan shark, what kind of fate would behold him once it did get out? So the Kings and the Ace are in surveillance right now, and Mike is doing the rundown of our thug here who is trying to, basically who's held our boy Mark hostage. Danny happens, we're tapping back into Danny knows everybody trope. Danny has a friend who runs a bar that kind of caters to that kind of crowd, and so he's going to go check that out. Meanwhile, on the floor, Ed is met with Mary, and Mary here really does shine. Oh, I thought I heard something. Maybe I didn't. It's just coming up a little bit later. But Ed explains to Mary that he can't lose his shift. He can't lose the day shift entirely. And then Mary retorts with,
Ed, I understand you've taken on a lot more responsibility this year. It's just that, well, I don't know, before you became president, you would have insisted on it.
well done, Mary. Well done. Well done. That was masterful. That was masterful. That was genius. Actually, that was masterful. And yes, I heard it. I know you heard it. We all heard it loud and clear. I heard it. Yes, I heard it too. That was a masterful stroke. Don't try to attack Ed. Use your wiles. Like, not your feminine charm isn't going to work on him. Go attack. Where's his sensitivity? His sensitivity is towards Ed's humanity, towards the kind of person Ed at least believes and does exude being with the rest of his staff. Very well played, Mary. Let's see. That's a very good strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays off for her. So we cut to a bar that is clearly in Los Angeles, if we're being perfectly honest. Danny pulls up to the front of the bar, and I'm just now noticing that not only does he pull up to the bar in a red zone, but he pulls up to a bar in a red zone in front of a fire hydrant. like he's begging for a ticket here. He's begging for a ticket. The bar that he pulls up to is conveniently named GST's Bar and Grill. I can't find that bar. Now, mind you, we're talking 20 years old. It might just be a prop, and sometimes that does happen. You know how they have the McDowell's every once in a while on like the Coming to America anniversary or something like that, and sometimes you see it. Like where I live fills in for Miami a lot in TV and movies. So sometimes something will get set up. They'll put up a sign somewhere real quick on a business that already exists there, and just to differentiate the name for something else. So my guess is that GST's Bar and Grill was never real, but that's a night because I did look for it. I looked for it quite a bit. I wasn't able to find it. I was able to find like G Street and other stuff. Was never able to find any history of any kind of GST's Bar and Grill, but that's where Danny's walking into now. And as he does, we hear a production song through all incarnations. I couldn't place it anywhere, but the lyrics are along the lines of, "Don't take me back. If you don't love me, don't take me. I can't make sweet love to you if you don't take me back." So it's a production song, but it's a good production song because it sounds like it could have been a real song. And that's the mark of a good production song to me. Does it sound like it's a real song? Does it sound like it's not just for the thing that it's in? Do you actually want to listen to that song? Then that's a great production song. But does it sound like a real song? That's a good production song. This sounds like a real song. I don't know if I'd put it on a playlist, but it sounds like a real song. So this is a good one. Danny walks in and he announces that he's looking at Cheryl Bullock, the hottest girl to ever graduate Jefferson High. Now, that made me think for a second, like, Jefferson High, didn't they graduate Las Vegas South or North or whatever Mary called it in the cheerleading episode? And they did, but my guess is that this is just a girl that Danny knew who went to a rival school or went to a different school in the area. You know, that happens. Like, it's not, not everybody you know has to go to the exact same school you go to. This isn't Bayside. And So she turns around with a gorgeous smile.
Wait a second. Cheryl Bullock, the hottest girl to ever graduate Jefferson High?
And look at me now.
I am. You look great.
Oh.
She does look great, Danny. While we're sitting here talking about it, we might as well talk about who this young lady is. Her name is, or the actress's name is Judy Aronson. Judy Aronson has had quite the storied history, the herald history. Apparently, she was a character in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and her scene was filmed on a cold night, so cold that she ended up getting hypothermia. Throughout the process, she was crying, she was screaming, but the director, Joseph Vito, was so insensitive that he just insisted on keeping going, getting the shot. It turns out that her savior, somewhat, I guess she's still alive, but her savior on the set that kept it from getting worse was the guy who was actually stuntman playing Jason. Ted White was the guy who tried to save her. Since then, she's gone on to be the owner of a Pilates studio in Manhattan Beach and gotten herself quite a few utility patents for exercise machines that she designed. Before that, she starred in stuff like The Powers of Matthew Starr as Lisa Wellman in '83. That was her first one. We talked about the Friday the 13th one. She was in Pursuit of Happiness. Not that one. This was a TV show in the 80s for 10 episodes. She played Sarah Duncan. That's probably her most prominent thing that she's been in, most steady thing. She was also on Nightstand for an episode as Maggie. I bring that up because I will always bring up Nightstand. Find Nightstand on YouTube. It is a hilarious show. Watch it. She also did 3 episodes of Say Hi to Sam for Me. Yes, she was Shelly for 3 episodes of 90210 through 7 years. So her character spaced out but came back. Fast forward a couple years, she does this episode of Las Vegas as Cheryl Bullock. The latest thing you can see her in outside of something that's in post-production right now is 13 Fanboy in 2021 as herself, Judy Aronson. So I'm guessing she probably did a cameo from the Friday the 13th, but if that's like a documentary or something, she played the roles of Marie in The Secret of 40, which was a short in 2016, and another short, and the last thing she was in that was full length was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as Gift Bag Girl in 2005, not long after this. That's Judy Aronson. Judy Aronson here is going to help her old friend, we'll say friend, Danny McCoy out here. And she starts with a bit of a guilt trip. We hear a bit more backstory of Danny. Apparently they used to sneak drinks from that bar when it belonged to her dad. Now it belongs to her. And again, this is where we get more fill-in of the history of the show, of the characters. We get more of their backstory. We fill in, we color it in. We fill in that world. And that's a good thing for an episode like this. Especially in the second season, you can do a lot more of that. So Danny asked Cheryl here about our loan shark who might have something to do with Mark's disappearance. Definitely has something to do with Mark's disappearance.
Tony Bradley. You know him?
Why would I know a loan shark? It's a legitimate joint.
Maybe some of your customers know him. Maybe they meet him here. Maybe this money lending business you know nothing about gets transacted here.
Man, Danny is pouring on the charm here. She's trying not... I don't even think she's trying that hard. I was going to say she's trying to keep her cool. She's trying not to rat anybody out. I don't think she's trying that hard. I think she's already caught up in the magic of Danny McCoy. And I understand it. He's Danny Charlemagne McCoy, damn it. You can't help but get caught up in the magic, caught up in the rapture of Danny McCoy. So Danny asks her where he might be, and she takes the opportunity because she hasn't seen him in a long time, apparently. She's playing her card. She's caught up in the rapture because she asks,
I heard you and Mary Connell finally hooked up.
Well, yeah, it's off and on.
he's pouring on the charm. Now, when he says that, is that true? Partially, yes. I know earlier on in this episode, we saw the meet me in the showers bit, and he said, I will, and we didn't see a scene where they did, so I'm assuming that he didn't. The on and off with the engagement, yes, but we also remember the connection that they had earlier in this episode and the last episode. We also remember the talk about the engagement ring and the date from the last episodes. So they're still together, and he's playing the on and off thing. But what he's doing, I think, I put more stock in that what he's doing in this scene is similar to what Mary was doing in the scene at the golf course when they were trying to get information about Ed playing golf with the former dead guy, Tolliver's brother, in Blood is Thicker. I keep getting that name wrong. Blood is Thicker, because it feeds into the idea that he can get more info in this situation with this particular person by at least feigning being single. Now, mind you, at the same time, he was eyeing Fergie, who was eyeing him. But that might just be celebrity. In this situation, it behooves him to be single because Cheryl goes ahead and tells him the info that she knows.
I heard that he has a place on Fontaine. And I think that he's trying to move some of those midget motorcycles out in a warehouse out by State Line.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Did you see that? She tried to fight it, but she knew she couldn't fight it. You know why? You know why she couldn't fight it? Because Danny McCoy is the sexiest man in all of the land. He is. The writers have gone back to telling us just how attractive Danny McCoy is. In case you've forgotten, it's been a couple episodes since he's had to be the sexiest man in all the land. They even put out a couple feelers out there pretending to be the sexiest man in all the land. Nope, those were just imposters. This is still Danny McCoy. So Cheryl tells him what she knows about the loan shark. As Danny's about to leave, he forgets that the charm worked because Cheryl stops him with the hand on his hand and says, don't be a stranger. And see, this is the other thing that makes me think, go back to show it.
You gonna come back and see me again?
Yeah.
We had some good times back in high school. You forgotten?
No, I haven't.
Don't be a stranger, Dan.
Dan. You know, you're the only person that ever called me that.
So did you see Danny's reaction to her hand on his hand? There's a little nervousness. So that does make me think that he was mostly playing the part. That, he's still, it's still Mary time right now. But Cheryl, he literally walked in with a bright light behind him like an angel into her dreary bar. She's going to take that shot. She's playing the reminisce card. We had good times back in high school. Don't you remember? Don't be a stranger, Dan. She's the only one who's ever called Danny Dan. And that makes sense. He doesn't seem like a Dan. Even now, Josh Duhamel doesn't seem like a Dan. Josh Duhamel doesn't seem like a Joshua. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see him. I can see him being the first 80-year-old that you look at as like, oh yeah, that's Josh. That's not Joshua. That's Josh. That's the first 80-year-old Josh. Not Joshua, that's Josh. He leaves and is about to give her a peck, but...
All right, I gotta go. Okay. Good to see you.
Yeah.
I told you she was shooting her shot, and I don't blame her. Listen, Judy as Cheryl, she went for it, and I don't blame her for going for it. You get one shot, you better not let it go. If it comes back to you and you have that opportunity, and she still looks good, and you take your shot. She asked, she put it out there. I heard you and Mary. No, all right, I'm going for it. She didn't ask for a phone number though. She didn't give a phone, but she didn't push too hard in terms of like, please contact me. But that kiss, she wasn't playing. She wasn't playing with the lips. So we whoosh through, back up into the Montecito, through to the Bella Sara, and Mia is there talking to a couple of Sam's clients, and Sam is not satisfied when Mia says that she is happy to have them as their, not hers, not Sam's, but their clients. Sam takes her to the side and tells her one more time not to poach her clients. And by the way, I can feel where Sam is coming from on this one. I had a coworker who did a lot of poaching herself, and she very similar to Mia in a lot of ways, actually. Similar look, similar demeanor, very similar to Mia here, especially in this particular scene where Sam tells her that she needs to watch where she's stepping, because Sam, you know, she doesn't know where Sam is from. Sam will take Mia out. So she gives her that's her warning, and that's her final warning.
Oh, you don't know where I grew up, do you? My clients are my livelihood. Mess with my livelihood, I take you out. Come here. That's a promise. Oh, there you go.
Don't see, Sam's warming up. Sam is warming up here, and Mia thinks she's gonna bite back at Sam when she says that turns out she's changed her mind. She doesn't want to work in Atlantic City. She wants Vegas. So either they work together or there's another way.
I choose the other way. That's not working together, right?
No, that's me calling Gavin, Mr. Brunson, to you and getting your little ass fired.
So let me tell you about that scene. I lived that scene. In a previous life when I was selling gym memberships for Gold's Gym. There was I'm telling this story here because I've told it on another podcast before. There was a coworker of mine, Claire, who openly and brazenly stole leads and clients from other people in the pool. And that's how she got to be the top seller, because she stole everybody else's leads. She stole everybody else's clients. And it was blatant and obvious. And it wasn't just me. I asked around, and other people who didn't have the wherewithal to stick with the job, they all quit. But they told me, like, yeah, she stole from us too, and that's why we quit. Because, you know, in sales, there are certain quotas that they want you to meet. They want you to meet a hierarchy. I think it's like of 60 memberships per month or something like that, right? Which breaks down to like a few a day if you work the full schedule, which is, it's not undoable. People do it, but you can't do it in the system that gym memberships or that gyms tell you to sell at. You have to go around their system in order to make those. And you just can't tell them that you're going around that system, because a lot of the stuff they put in that system is restrictive. And Claire knew it, and she went around that system and stole clients openly. And when confronted, was just as mean as Mia is here, was just as conniving when talked about, I just want to work together, and I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. But it turned out she was stabbing everybody in the back. She was stabbing everybody in the back. And it made it so that the work environment was toxic, and I ended up quitting. I was like, look, I'm done. And there's a whole lot of things that, basically it was a time to change my life. But also she wasn't the only one that was stealing. An assistant manager, Kedron, was stealing too. But yeah, I've been Sam in that scene before. I know where the hummingbird is coming from, where in that moment it is taking everything within you not to wreck shop. Not to just go ham on this person who in front of your face is telling you that they are going to continue to not only disrespect you, but take money. So yeah, Sam, I know exactly where you're coming from. And having seen this episode before, I am wholeheartedly in favor of everything you're about to do. So we go back into the surveillance room, and it's Ed and the Kings, and they're talking over the information that Cheryl Bullock gave them on where our Hood, who is holding Mark, is held up at. And so they're going to go to the warehouse where he's selling the midget bikes, and they're going to go ask him a couple of questions. Aston Martin? There's 3 of us. Put Danny in the trunk. I got the Hummer.
You notice Bradley, he's going to want a piece of that invention, so what do you say we take a little trip over to that warehouse?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, Mike, do me a favor. Call downstairs and get my car, would you?
The Aston Martin.
There's 3 of us.
Put Danny in the trunk.
I'll get the Hummer.
So see, it's stuff like that. Those scenes like that tell you where the director's head was at. He played that very well. That was a funny scene. And it helps that you get James LeJour, who, as we all know, has the history with For Your Love for about 4 or 5 years in the sitcom realm. So I'm sure he worked very well with Mr. Barry to get all the funny scenes done. And we're not done with the funny scenes. He's very good in them. We go and see Sam walking into the sauna of the Montecito to find Mr. Magelli. And Mr. Magelli...
Say, aren't you a little uncomfortable? Maybe we could just table this for half an hour.
Oh, no, thanks. I'm completely comfortable.
Now, what does that mean? Sam, in her business attire, now mind you, she's not wearing sleeves, but Sam in her business attire not breaking a sweat through this scene at all. Now, mind you, of course, it's Hollywood magic. It's probably not as can't be that hot in that room or whatever. But what it's saying for the actual scene, for Sam herself, is it that she's cold-blooded? And can adapt to the environment better? Is it that she knew what she was doing? Is it that is she the real ice queen? So that a little time in the sauna isn't actually going to affect her? Whatever the case, Sam asked Mr. Magelli why he was playing, and Mr. Magelli says that he's about to maybe switch casino hosts, and Sam passes a guilt trip on him when she says,
I know that I've been a client of yours since, God, I can't remember when.
Oh, I remember. I was still working downtown. You were still waiting until midnight to get money out of the ATMs. I remember perfectly. I'll transfer your account over to Mia.
Now, Magelli seems taken aback by that. Sam doing a good job of laying the guilt trip on him. Here's my thing, though, Sam. We saw Sam in the earlier episode with the psychologist pass up a longtime client of hers because he didn't have the play to stay. So Sam being sentimental or dropping the sentimental stuff on Dr. Magelli, how much of that is an act? How much of that is real? Did she learn anything? Remember, at that point, she did feel bad about it, bad enough to contemplate leaving the Montecito. And we've heard already now that she's not on a contract with the Montecito, but she is working exclusively for them. But she's not on a contract. And that'll come into play later, too, in the season. But where's this coming from? Sam, we know Sam, when especially recently, she's been real snarky, real snippy. So, real uncaring about a lot of stuff. So for Sam to try to pull this guilt trip on Magelli, it's not wildly out of character because we've seen the softer side of Sam before, but we've also seen the harder side of Sam. We've also seen the cutthroat side of Sam, and I wonder if this is more of a tactic to get at Dr. Magelli than her real emotions. So we see the Black Eyed Peas playing at the roulette table, and Delinda walks up to them, and they apparently know her. They kiss her on the cheek. What's up, little mama? She talks to them like they're old friends. Where was, a couple of scenes ago, Delinda was starstruck by the Black Eyed Peas? Why is she now old friends with them? I've talked on this show before about how much I love when celebrities come in and make cameos and feel like they're part of the crew and they already know people, they're old friends with them. Hey, Ed, we know you, Ed. Hey, what's up? They feel it helps, fill in with the helps the cameos come in and feel more welcome and warm, and it does throw back to a lot of older shows again, like shows like The Love Boat that we used to do stuff like that. But the consistency, like 15 minutes ago, Delinda was starstruck by the Black Eyed Peas. Oh, I'm so starstruck. She was talking to Mary about. If she knew him already, why didn't she just go up and say hi? She knew him. Hey, little mama, she knew him. She wasn't walking up like some fan. They didn't treat her like some fan. They didn't introduce themselves to her. She knew who they were. So what are we doing? What are we doing? So what we are doing here is Delinda is pushing the album, saying that an album is dropping in a couple of weeks. So when Delinda says the album's dropping in a couple of weeks, I'm guessing this is a fictional album, because before this, they dropped Ella Funk in June 2003, which includes Where's the Love and Let's Get It Started / Retarded. After that, the next album dropped in June 2005. So a good 6 months after this, 7 months? 7 months after this episode airs. So not in a couple weeks. Not in a couple of weeks. So what is she talking about? Is this a fake line that was just thrown somewhere? But it doesn't seem like a fake line. It seems like, and this is, so again, we've got another line segment here that seems like it's supposed to fit, and in any other show would fit, and in the context that it actually works, it would work. The same way we have our boy Jake, who seems like a cameo, the way they're talking to him, the way he acts, but he's actually nobody. Like, he's not an athlete or local celebrity or anything. He's just a guy that they got. Here, this is the point where you would say, hey, I hear your new album is about to drop in a couple of weeks. And it does drop in a couple of weeks. This is promotion for that album that's going to drop in a couple of weeks. But instead, the album drops 7 months after this. What? What? Okay, so a little background on that album, Ella Funk. Fergie and will.i.am were going to release solo albums in 2004, but decided to do a Black Eyed Peas album, another Black Eyed Peas album, to keep the momentum going from their last one. In the midst of doing that, the album was recorded in 2 or 3 month spurts, apparently, and a fire broke out in one of the studios where they were recording it. They may have recorded this months beforehand, expecting an album to drop around this time, but it turned out it didn't. So, slightly false information, maybe life happens. When it dropped, it didn't happen, and it came out 7 months later. So, I'll give them a Pasadena on that one. So, the Black Eyed Peas are still winning at the craps table, and Fergie offers an advanced copy of the album to Delinda, only for her. Again, she knows them already. I don't understand. Okay, fine. Hold on a second. Let's get a new deck in here, and we'll be right back. Is your ride missing something?
You know, I can do a few things under this hood. Give this baby a boost.
Do not
all I'm
go
saying
there,
is,
Mike.
How about a top-to-bottom detail at great prices?
Can you actually do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
If you're in the LA area, the place to go is Ease Clean Fast Car Wash. Let Eric take care of your car like it was his own.
Welcome to the family.
Schedule an appointment now by going to tinyurl.com/ecleanfast. That's tinyurl.com/ecleanfast. Or text 323-399-3674. That's 323-399-3674. So, Sam is on the casino floor, and she's talking to Mitch, who tips her that Brunson's on his way up. So Brunson, his assistant, come up. Brunson says that he was expecting a tour from our surveillance guys, but instead he's got Sam. And Sam has a very special tour for Mr. Brunson. He doesn't even have to leave surveillance to go to the jewel of the strip. They do talk a little bit about Sam's contract, and it's here that we really understand that she's freelance, but exclusively for the Montecito for now. And Mr. Brunson is tuned into one of the surveillance cams, and they see Dr. Magelli and Mia going up to Dr. Magelli's room.
Do we have anything interesting that we can show Mr. Brunson?
Yep.
Okay, well, let's put it up on P5. Let's see. Oh, that is interesting. Is that Mia? Yes, it is, and that's my client, Dr. Magelli. Wow, they really seem to have gotten to know each other there.
Sir, weren't you wanting some of those delicious pecans they sell in the gift shop?
No, I want to watch this.
Mitch, is that his room they're going into?
Yes.
What's the time code on that?
1:52 a.m.
Wow. Night owls. Sir, has anyone shown you how quickly we can fast forward? Pretty amazing modern technology. Mitch, put it up to, I don't know, what do you think, Mitch? 8, 12 a.m.?
Yeah.
So Brunson is not impressed with it. I'm impressed with it. Dr. Magelli and Mia for 6.5 hours. They were probably just playing Monopoly. 6.5 hours. That's 2 games, right? 2 games Monopoly. Not sure. That's what they were doing in there. That's why she was so disheveled. You know, sometimes people get animated when they play Monopoly. You know, especially if a 2-person game. You know, that takes longer sometimes. So yeah, I get it. We whoosh over to the warehouse. And the Hummer pulls up, and Mike and Danny they're still trying to play the super detectives by figuring out different ways to break into this warehouse.
I got it. Just take 1 second.
Whoa. Let's just take a shot.
You had a feeling that...
Occam's razor, boys. Occam's razor. We go into Cup of Joe, and Mia stomps into Cup of Joe to meet Sam and confront her for revealing her Monopoly game, her gaming skills, her game night. We'll call it game night with Dr. Magelli. As she does that, this is another musical cue here. We hear a song called Another Day by David Feldstein. Feldstein. Pretty decent. It's an early 2000s guitar song. It's an early 2000 college guitar song. It fits with the coffee shop, and it's on all incarnations. It's a good song. You should look it up. So Mia is irate at Sam for what she did, but Sam almost seems like she gets another bright idea, but I think she already had this bright idea in her head because it wasn't just Mia she's trying to get back at.
Thanks, Shelly. See you later.
You bitch. I can't believe you got me fired.
Oh, I think you got yourself fired.
Yeah, Gavin said he saw a tape of me going up to Magelli's room. Is this your little way of getting back at me? Shut up. Excuse me?
I said shut up. I did you a little favor.
And how is getting me fired doing me a favor?
Boy, have you ever heard of something called a sexual harassment case? For instance, like if someone's boss says, if you sleep with me, I'll make you a casino host, and then fires her after she does.
Yeah, but that's not exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, says who? The payoffs are in the millions.
And there goes Lindsay Price playing the characters that Lindsay Price had a tendency to play in the 2000s. And Sam wasn't just wronged by Mia. She told Brunson multiple times she doesn't play well with others. And this time she tried playing well with others, and others didn't play well with her. So now everybody gets And again, I've been that mad too. It's like, okay, now everybody's got to get it. Everybody. I'm taking everybody out. I get it. The boys go into the warehouse, and as they do, we hear a British announcer.
I tell you, folks, you've never seen clean like the clean from the Bradley ionizing cleaner. How the hell did you guys get in here?
You left the door unlocked, moron.
That was, kids, if you don't remember, that was a takeoff on pitchman Anthony Sullivan. There were a couple of different pitchmen in the 2000s. It wasn't just Billy Mays and the slap chop guy. It was Anthony Sullivan was the British one. That's how you can tell the difference. There was the British one, there was Billy Mays, and then there was the slap chop guy, Vin from Slap Chop. And those were the big three in the late 2000s, in the early 2000s. And that guy's impersonating him. Ed is not impressed. Neither is Danny. It turns out that our boy Mark is sitting there trying to work on the schematics and the paperwork for his ionizing machine while our boy is recording his voice. I don't think he can't be recording the actual pitch, because where he was in front of that camera, that commercial would look like trash. It would look like you're in a dimly lit warehouse. So he must have just been practicing and was trying to get his cadence down and stuff before they took it on the road, but he couldn't have actually been recording a commercial. The boys try to rescue Mark, particularly Ed, and our guy here, the loan shark, throws his jacket at Danny.
Oh, this bitch.
Bitch?
What?
Ed, let us do this.
Us. He called you bitch.
So the loan shark gets a sucker punch into Ed that takes him out. You know, that's that's how Houdini died. It wasn't because he got punched in the stomach. It was because he got sucker punched in the stomach. Our Kings take off after the loan shark, who decides he's going to take off on one of the mini bikes. Now, here's the thing. The mini bikes don't necessarily go that fast, but he's going to take off in it anyway. And he passes a truck. Like, does he not have the keys to that truck? So the Kings take off after him, and then they come back to go after the mini bikes. Maybe the mini bikes actually do go pretty fast, but as they do, Danny did say he could run faster than this. But there go the boys off on the mini bikes, and they're chasing our loan shark. Now, I think that this was probably shot in the lot where they filmed Las Vegas. Like, that's probably one of a warehouse that they may have access to on the lot where they shot it. And that's probably just the offices, surrounding it somewhere, that back lot. I don't think that's much of a location, and it's certainly not Las Vegas. It certainly still looks like LA. Ed follows them, and he's trying to get the bike working, and the boys are following our loan shark all through the parking lot, and it's an interesting chase scene. It's definitely funny. Like, you can definitely tell that a director of comedy probably was in charge of this. It's this close to like the Three Stooges playing underneath it. And Ed particularly gets frustrated with his mini bike, can't figure it out, picks it up and hurls it, and then just goes stalking around for this loan shark. Now, they certainly couldn't have gone that far. They're still in the parking lot, so much so they basically just went in a giant circle because Ed did not go that far. In fact, he hid behind the truck that I just mentioned and throws the garden hose at the guy. He does get his lick back, though.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't call me bitch.
By the way, shout out to our video game friend who also did the little hand snap that Mike did there. So we're at the championship game, and the Lancers are playing Mandalay Bay, and the game is tied up. Fourth quarter, basically on the way. Danny tells the team that he wants them to just go to overtime, take a knee and go to overtime. But Brent has another idea.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
So we whoosh back into the Montecito, and Brunson is giving the final rundown to Ed and Sam, saying that he's going to return. He didn't get the report that he asked Ed for earlier in the episode. He'll be back, though. He's got some litigation matters to attend to. Ed asks about Mia and gets the response.
Mia Duncan is no longer in the employ of the Montecito or any subsidiary or affiliate of the Montecito Group.
Word of advice, Ed. Don't screw an employee.
Screw. I'll try to remember that.
That's some sage advice from the owner, who by the way should have known that already, especially in 2004. But as we know, that certainly still happens all the time. Also, that's kind of a kick in the pants to the shippers. Who wanted Ed to get the Ed and Sam shippers. Unfortunately, that's probably good advice. Unfortunately, Ed and Sam shippers of the old Las Vegas-series.com site. Ed is not going to ask about Mia.
I appreciate you not asking.
So we whoosh back to a shot of the game, and we see the employees of the Montecito watching in the Bellicera. Nice compromise, Ed. Nice compromise. Now, mind you, I don't know where the cameras are. I don't see any camera set up anywhere that that would dictate that. So Brent pulls back, and he's actually dropping into the pocket to do a play. And none of the coaches know exactly what's going to happen. That's not what they called for. Brent spins out of the pocket, breaks left, and shoots for the end zone. And as he does, the crowd holds their breath, and the Lancers catch it into the end zone. With no time left, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And all the coaches clear the entire bench clears off, and everybody comes running towards the pile. And I have to mention it because I did mention it in What Happens in Vegas, where Mary came running down the hallway to see Greg. She also came running to the celebration pile. And as a former prepubescent boy myself, to see that.
Let's move on.
But there's a celebration. There's a giant celebration in the end zone. The Lancers win, and we get to see it through the screen in the Bellicera as all the employees are celebrating it, and we get to see it through another screen as Ed is watching the employees watch the game, and he's celebrating too. Now, here's my question. That's a cool shot to show that Ed's reached his heart out and he made it happen. He found a good compromise for his people. Good on you, Ed. But was he watching the whole game while watching them? Like, did he not? Like, did he do a click of his mouse and cut to seeing them watch it? Because that's just a weird way to be able to watch the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, he's watching from a screen within a screen in 2004. It's probably not the best screens of all. Okay, sure. And I still didn't see a big camera setup for them to be able to do that and patch that into the Montecito. Because I promise you Wi-Fi wasn't that good in 2004. I promise you it wasn't. But the show has to show. And we're going to go on, and we see the celebration in Mystique, and they've kitted up Mystique. There's popcorn makers, cake and punch and ice cream, stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. Ed comes up to give a speech, celebrating Mike and Danny and their accomplishments, and promising that he might go out there and help next year.
Yeah, they did a heck of a job, and I'm hoping if I get some free time, I really hope that I'll be able to go out there and do some coaching with them next year. Thank you very much.
Now, here's my question. Why did everybody react to Ed like that? Like, are they like too afraid of Ed or something like that? Because Linda's an assistant coach, and she's talking about making colors pop. I think Ed might have some good ideas in his head about how to, take down a larger opponent. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine some judo out there on the football field? The Lancers would win every game. But in any event, Ed is not there for that. He's there to introduce his gift to the victory party.
I'll tell you what, I got a couple of friends who are going to come out here and play some music for you, only because you're champs. You ready? Let's get it started. Black Eyed Peas!
And we get to see the Black Eyed Peas play Let's Get It Started on all incarnations. It's the Let's Get It Started, which is the tamer version of the song's original title, Let's Get Retarded. It's a great party. And listening to this again, This was good. Listening to this, watching this episode again was good for me to remember liking the Black Eyed Peas. Because I did like the Black Eyed Peas. And I mentioned before my only issue with Fergie at the time was that she was wildly overexposed for too long. That was the exact same thing that happened with the Black Eyed Peas. They were wildly overexposed for a while. This song was wildly overexposed for a while. It wasn't the only song in 2004 that was wildly overexposed. I liked this song, but it played everywhere. You couldn't escape this song. And it was like Hey Ya. Hey Ya also came out in 2004, and it also was wildly oversaturated. And I loved Hey Ya. I personally think that Love Below is a masterpiece album. I love it. But there was a period of time where even if I went back and listened to the rest of the Love Below, I skipped Hey Ya, and I loved Hey Ya. But I had heard it so much. It was oversaturated. And that was the big problem with the Black Eyed Peas at the time. But taking time away from the Black Eyed Peas, not listening to Black Eyed Peas for years. And the only reason why I know the Black Eyed Peas got back together minus Fergie and released another song minus Fergie is because it plays in the on the gym TV music video thing at my gym. So I was like, oh, Black Eyed Peas have a song. You know, they couldn't get Fergie back. That's it. That's the only reason I know that they did anything recently. And even then, I didn't hear it. I had my earbuds in. I didn't listen to the song. I just saw that they had a video. So this is the first time me actually listening to a Black Eyed Peas song in probably over a decade. And it's like, oh yeah, this was good. There's a reason why I got overexposed. Bad songs get overexposed too. But I'm like, oh yeah, this song was in fact good. Like this was like the era where people actually liked Black Eyed Peas. Whereas the Love, this song, like, oh yeah, this was when Black Eyed Peas made some good music. Again, it got overexposed, but you can enjoy it, especially a song like this. This was a good party song. And but that was the problem. It was too good and too universal and too ubiquitous a party song, and eventually you just got sick of it. But I don't get sick of watching the crew dance and party to this song. The Queens, oh my God, they tear it up. They dance. Oh my God, they eat the dance floor. They eat it. Shout outs to, I guess. Shout outs to Mary and Sam. They are rocking to this song.
Let's get it started. Get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Nikki Cox, and Vanessa Marcil, like they are rocking. They are amazing. Even Josh, even Danny isn't ridiculous in this song, and maybe that's part of the appeal of the song. Part of the song, you know, he's doing it well. You know, he's doing jumping, and even Ed. Oh, this is probably one of my favorite scenes with Ed. I have to show you this.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Ed dancing this song is amazing, as is this.
Started, get stupid.
Mary dancing on Danny. You love to see it. You love to see it. And you love to see Danny and Mary dancing together and call back to their youth when they danced together at a certain concert we'll hear about in a future episode coming up very shortly. And we whoosh out of the casino and the down the strip, and the episode ends. I like this episode despite its faults, but it does have faults. It has continuity faults. I gotta fault it with Delinda being starstruck by the Black Eyed Peas, and then 15 minutes later, it turns out that they've known each other for years. That's just silly. There's a couple other issues that I had that I mentioned here, the different faults with it. I do have to give credit to, I think Lindsay Price played her role stunningly. I gotta give it up to our boy Chance and how he played his role. If I were to rate this episode myself, earlier I said that the 7.6, 7.8 might not be where I put it. My grade for it is probably going to be lower than that because of the inconsistency. The inconsistency stuck out to me too much, and I gotta dock you. I gotta dock the episode for the inconsistencies. I don't know that I'd bring it down further than a 7 though, because there's still a lot of stuff that I enjoyed about the episode. I enjoyed Sam break just going. I enjoyed seeing Sam like, all right, let's fight. You got me now. You got it now. And taking Mia and Brunson out for their crimes against her. I like that. I like the comedy back and forth, the one-liners between the Kings. I did like that. I liked Mary using her cunning, not against Ed, but with the employees to get at least a good compromise in there. I liked that tactfulness from her, and that's why she's the entertainment manager. She knows exactly what she's doing. I did like that. And I like the overall story. I think, again, with the inconsistency, I got to bring it down to about a 7. That's my rating, but my rating does not matter. It's your rating that counts. It's what you think about it that counts. And so let me know what you think about this episode on all socials media. We are everywhere. If you can't find us, we have a link tree. It's in the description. Go find it. Matter of fact, all the places you can find us are in the description. So if there's a certain place where you want to find us, if you're listening and you want to watch us, if you're watching and you want to listen, vice versa, if you got a new app, if you got a new subscription, whatever, to one of the apps, you can find us on most of them. And including YouTube. We got the YouTube up now. We're still, it's not current yet because we're still waiting on a couple of copyright restrictions to be lifted, but because I don't want to put too many on there at one time. But we're up and going. So you can find us there and share. Sharing is the best way to help support the show that you clearly love. You've gone this far, so you might as well share it with somebody. You might as well like it. You might as well comment on it. All that stuff actually does help with the algorithm and with this with the little show that could, like we are. We need all that. We need it all. We need it all. So please go ahead and support that way if you can. If you're monetarily inclined to do so, you can also support. Patreon is the best way to do it. Patreon is the best way to do it. You will get exclusives like what's coming up. What's coming up? What's coming up is a special crossover episode because the next episode, yes, Two of a Kind is the next episode of Las Vegas that's coming up. However, before that next episode of Las Vegas, there's an episode of Crossing Jordan. The episode of Las Vegas is episode 2 of a crossover event that starts on Crossing Jordan. We will cover the Crossing Jordan episode exclusively on Patreon. It is a Patreon exclusive, and I think if I can figure out how to do locals on Rumble, it'll be a Rumble exclusive too with the locals thing, but you got to join locals. I got to set up the locals. So as of right now, look for it on Patreon specifically, and it'll be audio version of it, like all the other episodes, will be available to you if you pledge $1 and above, and if you pledge $5 and above, then the video version will be available to you as well. And that's also the best way of getting it because on Patreon we don't have to worry about all the copyright issues that you would on a YouTube. It will not be on Rumble. If it is on Rumble, it'll be through locals, and you'll have to do the same pay rate through there. So the Crossing Jordan first episode will be exclusive on Patreon, and then we will get into the Two of a Kind episode on Las Vegas. And they kind of go hand in hand, so there's probably a good time to go ahead and sign up if you are monetarily inclined to do so. There will also be other special features as well as Rumble in the Montecito that's coming up shortly, and a couple other things I'm going to try to get if I can get some time. Again, I'm hiring somebody to help me with the podcast, so that's going to free up some time so that we can get more exclusive stuff to you, my favorite client from New York, yes, or wherever you're listening to. I don't know. So yes, we will see you then, and in the meantime, the in-between time, I appreciate you joining me on this journey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will get into, it's going to be, I thought last week was packed. This week is going to definitely be packed. But don't forget to vote on all your favorite VIP guest stars that are coming up on the polls. They are everywhere. They get tallied up after a week's time. So go ahead and vote for those and participate. And again, share. Thank you for coming along with me. In the meantime, in between time, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, please remember the sage words of Mr. Brunson.
Don't screw an employee.
Well, I mean, always remember to take care.
No guilt, no shame, no pity.